We've mentioned in our last few videos that we're building a straw bale house, and understandably, people have some questions. This is an unconventional building style, so let's clear up some misconceptions. The main concerns were mold, fire, permitting, and critters, and trust me, these were also our concerns when we first considered building this type of home. But as we've learned from years of research and excellent teachers, straw bale houses aren't just as good as conventional houses for these issues, but in most cases, they're actually better. It might seem counterintuitive at first, but avoiding mold in your house is one of the many reasons that people build this way. Straw is the same material as wood, dry cellulose, so like wood, if it's kept dry, it won't mold and it'll last for hundreds of years. Mold problems usually occur in homes when water gets trapped between something impermeable like plastic and something with organic matter like wood. That's why if a conventional home isn't vented properly or has a leak somewhere, the plastic house wrap can build up condensation and cause mold and rot in the walls. In a straw bale house that's plastered on both sides, there's no plastic barrier and the straw and plaster walls themselves are vapor permeable and regulate the moisture in the home. This gives these homes very good air quality and longevity because there's not enough moisture for mold to grow. The second concern people brought up was fire. I think this is because our videos showed the unplastered walls with exposed straw bales, but once the bales are embedded in 1 to 2 inches of plaster, the building is essentially a limestone boulder on the exterior and a mass of adobe on the interior. Neither of those is known for their flammability. The bales are sandwiched between the plaster and packed so densely that there's very little oxygen in the walls. In wildfire-prone areas, there are actually many examples of straw bale and adobe homes faring much better than their conventional stud-frame neighbors. Straw bale homes are actually in the International Building Codes, which means they've been tested for things like fire safety and met or exceeded the standards. Which brings us to the next question, permitting. We are building our house to code, and so getting a permit was the same process as for any other house. And finally, rodents. Yes, if you leave straw bales laying loose in a barn, they make a great place for all types of critters to nest because they're insulative, dry, and easy to move through. But when they're packed densely into a wall and covered in a thick layer of plaster, they're a terrible place for rodents because even if they can get through the plaster, there are no cavities to nest in like there are in wooden stud walls. If you've ever lived in a home or a barn like us with mice, you've probably heard them scurrying around through the walls and ceiling at night on the way to the kitchen. But the walls in a straw bale home are basically a solid mass. Okay, since you've gotten to this point in the video, I'm going to answer one more common question that we got, and that's what do we do about big bad wolves? This is a common concern when building with straw, and we definitely considered it when looking at the design. Luckily, because we have a strong timber frame and the bales are reinforced with metal mesh, we feel confident that they can withstand at least the amount of huffing and puffing that a conventional home can withstand, and maybe even more. No, but actually they are very hurricane and earthquake resistant. Anyway, these little piggies have to get back to plastering the walls so we can have a house this winter.